Council convenes. It's been a few days since we returned from the Burgundy River Pack, and today the council will decide Dante's, Nicus and the rest's fate. As part of the royal family, our attendance is required, and even if we weren't as the victims it is. Luckily Marina and Noah have agreed to watch Bria and Bella at the mansion. Which has more guards? My love, are you ready? Liam calls out as he walks into our bathroom, where I'm putting my shoes on. Wow baby, you look gorgeous. I look up to see my sexy husband in a black suit with a white button-down shirt. I am dressed in a black skirt suit that ends right below my knees. I'm wearing a burgundy tank top that is conservative under the suit jacket and black pumps. My reddish-brown curls are pinned up in a ponytail, falling down my back, with a few around my face. It's not too much, right? I don't want the council thinking you married a skank, I say, and Liam laughs. Oh my love, you're the farthest woman from a skank, but gorgeous and sexy as hell, Liam says, kissing me lovingly before taking my hand and leading me downstairs and outside where Marina and Noah wait with Bria and Bella in their stroller. All right, let's get this started and done with, I say, and we head over to the mansion, where we leave them in the front room and head to the council meeting room. We stop outside of a double door with 2 guards in front. Your Highnesses, please go ahead, one of them says as the other opens both doors. Their Royal Highnesses Prince Liam and Princess Leah Caputo, he announces before bowing as we walk by him. I'm still not used to that, but my attention is quickly refocused on the people who are approaching Liam and I. I'm nervous until I see a friendly face. Princess, it's fantastic to see you, my dear, he says, opening his arms for a hug, which I quickly step into. Alpha Jacob, I had no idea you were on the council. It's wonderful to see you as well, I reply before stepping back so Liam and he can shake hands. Usually I am. You see, Alpha Nathan, who leads the Savannah River Pack, and I were chosen to represent the packs. However, Alpha Jacob is cut off by a short man, who clearly is angry and glares at me. But not this time, Jacob. Seeing as you are close with the victims, he says, then turns to Liam and I am Alpha Thurman, Alpha of the Summit Ridge Pack, and he starts saying, but now I'm irritated and cut him off. Seeing as you're one of the defendants, father, you'd be even less so neutral and open-minded, don't you believe so? Liam squeezes my hand. You shall address me as Alpha Thurman, young lady, he orders, and before I can reply, my husband, who's obviously had enough steps in front of me. You will address my wife as your highness or princess with the respect she deserves, not young lady. Liam growls, and it's clear Alpha Thurman is nervous. He nods and turns back to flee to where Dante, Alpha Joe, Nikki, Barbie and the guard are handcuffed to chairs. Now, since this council will be deciding punishment for actions against the royal family, I'm sitting out. The king and queen are present, but will not take part. Allow me to introduce the rest of the council members, so we may begin, Alpha Jacob explains as we approach the council's table. They all go silent and look up at us. Councilman Augustine, you've met Prince Liam, of course, Alpha Jacob says, and the short, skinny man who has dark hair with streaks of gray running through it smiles warmly at Liam, shaking his hand. Of course. Congratulations, Prince Liam, I heard you found your anima gemella and have twin girls, the councilman says to Liam before turning to me with the same warm smile. This must be her, Princess Leah. It's truly wonderful to meet you. I've known your mother and father for years. They never gave up hope on finding you. They are so thrilled to have you back. He tells me. Thank you, Councilman. It's wonderful to meet you as well. I reply. Next, Councilwoman Sedina. Sedina, you of course know Princess Liam. Alpha Jacob says, to which both Liam and Sedina laugh. Know him? Hell, I babysat him and Alec more times than I remember, she says, and then smiles at me. She hugs me. Don't worry, Thomas is my older brother. My nephew is seriously lucky to have his soulmate be way too good for him. I'm very aware of that fact. Liam replies, and everyone laughs. Suddenly the doors to the room are thrown open, and we turn to see a man walk in, and he heads toward where we stand. His entire aura is evil. He makes me think of the villain in every Disney movie I've ever seen. He has long coal-black hair that is straight and falls past his shoulders. His eyes are so dark it almost appears he has no pupil. He's taller than almost every man in the room, and when his gaze meets mine, his lips curl up into an evil smile. Liam steps in front of me as to block me and protect me, and I'm grateful. Councilman Vincenzo, we weren't aware you'd be able to join us, King Thomas says. I look over and meet Queen Sophia's eyes, and it's the first time since we met that there's a hint of fear in her eyes, but she quickly pushes it away. Of course I had to attend. It does involve my future, does it not? The man replies. When I turn to face him again, his eyes are showing ownership, and it pisses me off. He holds his hand out towards me, and although every instinct inside me says to get away, I feel that he's testing me in some way. I don't believe we've been introduced. My name is Vincenzo Regali, and my father is King Gorgio of African Pax. It's wonderful to finally meet you, Princess Leia. Pleasure to meet you as well, I reply, and the moment I can pull my hand away without it appearing offensive, I do so. All right, enough pleasantries. Could we please get these proceedings underway so I can take my daughter and start our long journey home? Alpha Thurman says in irritation. I'm actually grateful for his haughty interruption. Let's get started, please, if everyone would take your seats, Alpha Jacob says, and as the council members take their seats behind the large table that is set a few feet above the rest of the seats, Liam and I sit in the chairs beside his parents. Alpha Thurman sits at a table directly in front of the council, and although I've never been in a courtroom before, this is exactly how the room is set up. After everyone takes their seats, I feel the hair on the back of my neck stand up and turn to look behind me. I damn near chuckle when I meet Victoria's glare. Please excuse my assistant's tardiness, Vincenzo remarks, and his voice snaps her out of her haze, and she sashays to his side. I apologize, Your Highness. I was held up by the royal guard when I attempted to enter the mansion, she quickly explains as she hands him a pad of paper, and then sits behind him pulling a laptop out to take notes. Victoria is wearing a short, tight black skirt, stiletto sandals, and a white button-down shirt, unbuttoned so she is showing off her cleavage. She gives Liam a sultry look before licking her lips, only to scowl when she realizes he's not even acknowledging her existence, but looking at me with his darkened, lustful eyes. Oh, how I wish I could carry you out of here and take you in the first empty room we find. I'm throbbing to be inside you, my love. Liam tells me over our mind link, and I immediately get wet and ache between my legs. I smile. The moment we're finished here, we'll find that room I'm so wet for you. I reply over the link and he growls. Damn my love, I can smell your arousal. He says, and it makes me ache even more. Don't worry my love, no one else can now, let's focus on why we're here. I nod as he drops our link and turn my attention to the proceedings. Unfortunately, I can't seem to ignore how Councilman Vincenzo stares at me with that same look of ownership. Who is this man? I know there's something about him I don't know, and it's imperative I find out what it is in order to not only protect myself, but everyone I love. I decide to get in touch with my parents this evening and find out the whole story. I turn my attention back to the proceedings. Dante, please stand. Councilman Augustine says, and the guard rushes to Dante to release one of his wrists, allowing him to stand. Dante, you have been found guilty of attempting to kidnap and then forcibly mate with an already marked member of the royal family. Do you have anything to say before the council decides your punishment? Just that I am sorry for my actions. I wasn't in my right state of mind. Dante replies, pointedly looking at both Liam and I as he speaks. All right. Dante, you have been stripped of your title of Alpha over the Burgundy River Pack, and will not be able to earn the title back. You will serve out another 2 years in the dungeon, at which point you will be returned to your pack. Councilman Augustine announces, and Dante nods his understanding. Now our next case is the attempted kidnapping of Princess Bria and Princess Bella by Alpha Joe, Miss Nikki, Miss Barbie and Alpha's guard. Our first testimony will be from Miss Barbie. Please stand. Sedina says, and a guard releases Baba's hand so she can stand. Please begin when you're ready. Barbie takes a deep breath. She tells the same story to the council as she had to us, after the royal guard caught her after she took off with one of the car seats. There was nothing changed or added. Thank you for telling us what happened, and we will take into consideration your voluntary testimony when we decide your punishment. Sedina says, and the guard sits her back down and handcuffs her hand. Now, if the council would turn their attention to the screen, we have a recording of the attempted kidnapping and the confrontation. For the next 20 minutes we watch the footage of the twins' attempted kidnapping and the rest of our afternoon until the royal family leaves. It was hard to watch the footage, even knowing Bria and Bella were safe. Our babies could have been taken. I would experience what my parents went through when I was taken from them. I am glad when the recording ends, but then I glance at Alpha Joe and Dante as they just had to watch as Luna Simone collapsed and left this world. They both have tears rolling down their cheeks, and then suddenly Dante is growling. How dare you? You killed her. Every time you slept with that whore you caused her such pain. No, don't you dare be upset. You did this, you chose that whore and killed your mate. Dante screams at Alpha Joe. After he finishes, he's escorted out of the room and back to his cell. Please escort them back to their cells, and we will reconvene tomorrow to begin deciding punishment. Council is adjourned. Councilman Augustine declares, and everyone begins to leave. Liam takes my hand, leading me out, when Victoria steps in our path and smiles. What, no kiss? Goodbye, Liam. I remember how crazy kissing me used to make you. She purrs, stepping a bit closer. Oh, Victoria, how sad it must be to have such delusions. I can tell you with absolute truthfulness that just holding my mate's hand makes me hard and throbbing. Now move to the side so I can get my wife home and put another baby into her. Liam says, and her jaw drops. You said more than once you didn't want children. Victoria says, Meeting my anima gemella has changed my mind. I want as many children as Leah will give me. Liam replies. Now for the last time move out of our way. She moves to the side but then smiles evilly at me. Enjoy it while you can. He has plans for you, and I'll be here to console Liam. She says just loud enough that only I hear her. I know she means Vincenzo, so I need to call my parents and find out what is going on. After collecting the twins and our guard, we return home and have a truly wonderful evening. Liam makes love to me until early morning when we fall asleep. True evil. Vincenzo's POV. Oh yes, my king. Harder. Nikki moans as I pound into her. I've got her and Saturn in Nikki's bed. I pull out and lay on my back pointing to Nikki. Suck and finish me off. I pick Saturn up to straddle my face and start sucking and biting her wet folds. I know it pisses Nikki off, 'cause I refuse to give her oral. But I have no way of knowing how many slimy wolves she's been with. Ride my cock, I say before returning to Saturn's pussy. Saturn, I know, has only been with me. I took her first time and she only wants me. Nikki, on the other hand, has already been with my father multiple times, and we've only been home for 3 months. It's actually a good thing, as this will be the final time I come to her bed. She has become boring, and Saturn has a friend who wants to join us. I had planned to tell her tonight, but she was naked and waiting. Between the two I roar as I release deep inside Nikki. As soon as we all catch our breath, I take Saturn to my suite, 'cause I'm not nearly satisfied. I know full well Nikki is expecting my father. The next morning I'm woken up by my assistant as usual, and he has my breakfast waiting. I always eat in bed. After Lionel places the tray over my lap, I notice his hands shake. He's nervous about something. My schedule today? I say. Of course, Your Highness. It's light. The king has requested a meeting at 12 and then the queen is scheduled for 3 p.m. Lionel says, and I sigh. Of course, the two couldn't meet with me at the same time. They only pretend to be a happy couple for the press and public. Can't do it for their son. All right then, what's the report on my princess? I ask, and then he looks at the floor. Bingo, I'm obviously not going to like this. There is none, Your Highness, our spy is missing. He says, backing away, and it's good he does. I throw the tray off my lap and jump out of my bed. For how long? I snarl. We're not sure. We've attempted to contact him several times the past few days. He stammers. Get out. I roar and he rushes out. This is just unacceptable. It took us months to get him into the royal staff. I head into my bathroom to shower and get ready to meet with my father. Hours later, right as I step out of my suite and lock the door, I feel my father mind link me. Where are you? He asks. I'm on my way. I reply, wondering what I'm walking into, that he's already on me, and it just turned 12. Hurry up, I've got other important matters today. He growls and cuts the link. I'm sure you do, I think, as I make my way to his office and step inside, closing the door behind me. Finally, have a seat, Vincenzo, my father says, and I turn to sit in one of the chairs in front of his desk, only to stop short when I see Nikki sitting in the other chair. She smiles at me, and all I can think is, what game is she playing now? I sit down and she tries to hold my hand. I rip it away and glare at her. I didn't tell you to touch me. I growl and she just laughs. Why are you laughing? Enough, son. My father roars, and I turn to him in shock. Nikki here has some news for you. I glare at Nikki. I'm pregnant. We're having a baby. she says excitedly and again tries to hold my hand, which I again yank away. That's not possible. No, she Wolf is able to become pregnant by a leakin. At least not until, or if she's become a leakin herself. I say, and she just laughs. Maybe not, but I'm part witch, which means I can and I am. She informs me. I've never heard of that. It's not true. I reply before looking to my father. He shakes his head and shrugs. I've never heard of any witch and leakin pairing up, or any leakin with any other species. I do know there's no way a she-wolf could carry a leakin. To term the child would kill her. My father says. He then mind links, and I'm sure it's to have someone research our historical archives. When he focuses again, he scowls at me, and I know I'm about to lose my shit at whatever he's about to say. You need to take responsibility for your actions now, Vincenzo. We will make sure it doesn't get out that you're expecting, and Nikki will stay within the castle until the birth, or it's proved not to be true. You can't be serious. Nikki jumps up yelling, and my father growls. How dare you raise your voice at me? You are lucky I don't send you to the dungeon. He roars, and showing she has a hint of intelligence, she sits down. Now, you are to go straight to your room, and are not to leave unless myself or Vincenzo summon you. You will be guarded 24/7. Nikki starts crying, and two of our royal guardsmen walk into my father's office to escort her to her room. So now I'm a prisoner? She asks. My father laughs. Did you really think you were anything more than a toy? Did you believe you'd become what, my wife, Vincenzo's? He asks, and she cries harder. We've spent decades planning this marriage and taking back what's ours. You honestly believe we'd throw that away for some skanky she-wolf? But our baby, she cries, which makes us both laugh. If a baby exists, it will be raised by us as soon as it's born, or proven not to exist. You'll be escorted off royal grounds and arrested if you return. I tell her because it's true. If there is a baby, my baby will be raised by myself and my princess when she's home. You seem to have forgotten why you were brought here. You are here for one purpose, and that is to get my princess home where she belongs. Now, you're useless to me. Now, guards escort her to her room. If she tries anything, put her in the dungeon. I order, and they immediately do as they're instructed. The moment the door closes, I glare at my father. If she's telling the truth, it could be your child just as easily as it could be mine. My father smiles evilly and stands up, coming around to my side. That bitch is not pregnant with my child. Kings don't have weak offspring, which is why she will no longer be with us after tonight. Now go, and not a word of this to your mother. Or has it been too long since you were taught your place? He growls, and the next thing I know, he's yanked me up and hurled me across his office. By the time I leave that room, I'm bleeding and bruised. I am furious. Damn you, princess. If you'd just come home to start our future, none of this would occur. I stalk into my suite and slam the door. Your Highness, Lionel says from behind me, but doesn't say a word when I turn towards him. I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror and chuckle. He went all out this time, I say as I look at the cuts and bruises on my face that are already healing, not fast enough, as I'm still meeting with my mother soon. Lionel, leave me, I tell him as I strip off my shirt and begin removing my pants and underwear. Without a word he does so, and I already feel the dark blue fur begin to cover me as my fingers turn into claws. By the time I reach the veranda outside my bedroom, I've allowed Zaid, my Leakin, to emerge, and without a pause we jump over the railing, dropping the 4 stories to the ground and run into the hills. This is all her fault. How dare she not fulfill her destiny? Zaid roars, and he's right. My princess, my woman, she's always been mine, and yet she is with him. Now I'm dealing with a manipulative, dirty she-wolf. It's time to put the final plan into motion. It is foolproof. Zaid says in my mind. It's dangerous and a huge risk. I reply and he growls. It's time to stop being a weak prince. It's time to become king and take my destiny. Starting tonight, I'm king, and I will have my queen. I'm done following my father. I agree with Zaid. I laugh before coming to the cliff overlooking the castle. Starting now, it's my turn. King Vincenzo is taking over and we're going to have so much fun, finally showing everyone who's in charge. Starting with the past king. I howl before heading back to my castle and removing any obstacles. What now? Present time. It's been 4 months since Nikki disappeared with Prince Vincenzo, and there's been no word. None of us relax, because we know it's coming. I'm sitting in Sophia's study as she continues training me in duties of the queen. Bria and Bella are growing so fast. They're currently sleeping in the bassinet that has an exact copy in almost every room of the mansion, as well as swings and diapers and clothes and etc. Sweetheart, is something bothering you? Sophia asks, and it pulls me from my thoughts. Not at all. I was just thinking how incredibly happy I am, and how big my babies are getting. I look over and smile at Bria and Bella. Yes, I remember thinking the same thing when mine were that age. We returned to her lessons and the afternoon went by quickly. Leah couldn't shake the feeling that something horrible was about to happen. She didn't know what or why, but it was close. Finally, after putting the twins to bed and calling Marina to come over and stay with them, Leah did the only thing she could think of to shake off the unease, and she let Isis run. About damn time. You haven't let me out in ages. Isis grumbles as she flies over down trees and rocks. Stop whining, you're out now, aren't you? I reply, and Isis freezes and slips quietly into a hiding spot as we hear footsteps coming our way. The family were all occupied with Liam in a meeting with his dad and brother, and some alphas whose packs were having issues. Marina was with the twins. Noah was with Liam, while Mom and Nadine were entertaining the Lunas, while their mates were in the meeting, which meant whoever was coming this way shouldn't be on the property, and considering I was almost to the lake, it was obvious they'd snuck onto the royal estate. I shrink into the small cave I found next to the lake and concentrate on masking my scent. Thank you, baby. Will you shut up before we're caught? A haughty voice says. I know I've heard the voice before but can't place it until a moment later when a tall, gorgeous blonde walks out of the tree line. Will you hurry up? We don't have much time to find Liam and use the potion to get him in bed that we received. I'm going as fast as I can. Don't forget I get him inside me first. Cecily whines, following Victoria, as they both continue towards my home wearing nothing but red sheer negligees and stilettos. Those bitches have gone too far. Isis growls in my head. Suddenly I feel another link. Way too far. I hear Liam growl before he drops down beside me and quickly shifts, allowing Zeus to take over. Zeus and Isis begin their chase, and it's not long before Isis is pinned to a tree and the tired lichens shift, and Liam lifts me up and thrusts into me hard. Harder, baby, please, I'm not fragile. I beg, and he sets a punishing pace, and it feels amazing. He has me coming 3 times before releasing deep inside me. After we catch our breath, we return home and find Victoria and Cecily cuffed to the porch in their slutty outfits. Liam and I laugh as he nuzzles my neck, and we both look at the 2 sluts. Hey, you 2, guess who stopped by to visit? Marina says with a smirk. Looks like they planned a hell of a night. Noah says, tossing Liam and I blankets to cover up, with before handing Liam a small glass vial with a clear liquid inside. Noah chuckles. They set me up. Liam, baby, I was, Victoria tried to say, but I was in her face in a second. It was pathetically funny at first. Now it's just annoying. Call my husband, my mate, baby, one more time, and I will end you before you finish. I growl before returning to Liam's arms. She scowls at me before breaking out the tears as she looks at Liam. I was just trying to talk to you. I miss you, and I know you miss me. She sobs and only stops when I have my hand around her throat, and I'm holding her in the air. Liam rushes over, wrapping his arms around my waist, with his mouth by my ear. My love, it's not worth it. You're a princess. Mother, and my love, she will be sent to the dungeon for attempting to drug a member of the royal family. They both will. Liam says, then kisses my mark, and I drop Victoria. Get them to the dungeons. Noah commands, and the guard quickly obeys, pulling a begging and pleading Cecily and Victoria with them. You're going to regret this when my parents find out. They'll make you wish you'd never crossed me. Cecily screams at me and struggles to get away from the guards. Guards, halt. Liam roars and stomps over to where they're holding her. He growls loudly. Listen closely. I don't care who your father is. You try to drug me, to have sex with me, and then have the audacity to threaten my wife. I'm telling you right now, you stay away from me, my wife and my family, or I guarantee you will be exiled from the royal village. Go ahead, take them. Liam says over his shoulder before returning to me and lifting me bridal style to carry me inside and upstairs to have a very hot shower and get ready for dinner. A week or so later, Liam and I walk into the mansion dining room, carrying the girls' car seats. Marina and Noah are with us, as is Zachary and Angelina. I'm dressed in my black leggings, a royal blue sweater dress, and knee-length black stiletto boots. My hair and makeup done perfectly. Liam damn near took me back to bed when he saw me, and he still has a look of pure lust in his eyes. Good morning. Are they sleeping? I laugh as King Thomas rushes over to see his granddaughters. Good morning. Bryce awake, I say, and he quickly has her out of her car seat and walks over to an unfamiliar couple. He starts raving about his beautiful granddaughters. Did I not tell you, Tyson, how beautiful they are? This is Bria, and oh, here is Bella now. He gushed as Liam walks over with Bella. We heard congratulations are in order, Liam. You found her and have twins. The woman next to the man says and hugs my husband. I'm almost pissed until Liam makes sure I know it's okay. Thank you, Aunt Rema. I'm so happy you and Uncle Tyson came to visit. He says, then turns to me holding his hand out, which I take. This is my anima gemella, my wife and love of my life, Leah. Leah, this is my aunt and uncle. My dad's brother. It's wonderful to meet you, I say and hold out my hand, only to be pulled in for a hug by his aunt. We hug family, she says. And I already know we're going to get along fabulously. She's a no-nonsense, straightforward woman and has the most contagious laugh I've ever heard. Welcome to the family, Leah. I'm Tyson. It's fantastic to meet you, her husband says in a booming but happy voice. These two little angels are gorgeous. Good thing they look more like their mama. Uncle Tyson, I'm thankful for that every day. Liam says, laughing as his mom swoops Bella away from him. I watch my family head to the table and grin. Pretty great feeling, right? Marina says, stepping up beside me, and I don't have to ask what she means. I'm so happy, Marina. I feel like I have everything I've ever wished for. I reply and she hugs me. You deserve it, she says as we go to our seats. You both do. I hear Justice say to Isis in my mind. Thanks. You both do to Justice. Isis replies and Marina beams. Liam's parents, but the twins in their swings and the food is brought out, and when my plate is put in front of me, I realize how hungry I am, but before we can eat the dining room door crashes open. Why is my daughter locked up in the dungeons, Thomas? Cecily's father storms into the dining room and confronts the family. I demand you release her immediately. How dare you lock her up, because the little princess is jealous. King Thomas stands up and his aura screams, King, how dare you speak to me like that? You need to get your facts straight before you barge into my home demanding anything. His voice booms throughout the room. I've never heard him speak loudly, so this has me shocked. Your daughter has gotten through a lot without consequences, but last night her and another woman snuck onto royal grounds after being specifically told not to and planned on drugging the prince to have sex so his mate would find out. They wanted to get pregnant by him to have him to themselves. If they'd succeeded, they could have killed both my son and daughter-in-law. That's why she's in the dungeons. That's crazy. Cecily would never. Her father roared and the king had enough, and even I felt his alpha, though it had no effect on me. The beta quickly whined and neared his neck. I told you not to speak to me like that. Now get up and let's go see your daughter ourselves, all of us. King Thomas says before looking at the twins and back to his brother and sister-in-law. Would you mind keeping an eye on them for just a moment? Of course not. Go ahead, Rema says, and I smile, trusting her implicitly. We get up and head to the door to the dungeon. As we head downstairs, Liam takes my hand, and I feel him link. Everything okay? You seemed on edge when my dad got loud, he says, and I smile that my husband noticed. He always does. Not on edge, it just surprised me. Your dad hardly speaks, let alone yells, I reply, and Liam chuckles. Almost as surprised as I was last night when you yelled at Cecily. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, I'm furious, Liam tells me, and I kiss him sweetly. Thank you for being the calm one in our marriage, I say, and he smiles with all the love he feels for me in his eyes. It takes my breath away. Daddy, I knew you'd. Cecily cries out. What are you wearing? Have you no decency? Her father cuts her off quickly, and his jaw drops at the two women standing in the cell, in the red negligees and stilettos that they wore last night. Daddy! Cecily cries out. Don't, it's true, you came here to drug Prince Liam. I can't believe I believed your stories. Then he turns to me. I'm so sorry, Princess Leia and Prince Liam, for all the things my daughter has done. He looks at Cecily. You're on your own now. You have to deal with the repercussions of your actions. With that, he turns and heads upstairs, as we do, and return to our day. After an extremely busy day, Liam and I have just put the girls to bed. We've just pulled the door closed when we hear someone running towards us. We turn to see my visibly upset brother and Angelina stop in front of us. Zachary, what's wrong? Are you hurt? I ask, terrified. No, I'm fine, we have to go home right now. They're missing, he says and falls to his knees. Vincenzo's Plan Part 2. Vincenzo's POV. I wake up to see it's 8 a.m. and my phone didn't go off. I look around and my phone's not on my nightstand or on my bed. What the hell? I jump up and that's when I hear it vibrating in my pants. I quickly retrieve my phone and see 12 missed calls and texts from Killian and my blood goes cold. I dial his number praying I'm wrong. The phone just keeps ringing and I'm so furious I throw my phone against the wall and it shatters. Damn it. I roar and quickly jump in the shower and get dressed. I make sure to wear my black suit and white shirt. I triple check my appearance to make sure I look pristine. I link with Frank. Have the Yukon outside in 5 minutes and make sure the plane is ready to take off. I order. Yes, Your Highness. He replies and I head out locking my suite and heading to the staircase. I decide that it doesn't matter what is going on with my guests. It's too late. They'll never make it to the royal estate in time. But I will and I'll take the throne. I rush out and jump in the Yukon, and Frank pulls away heading for the airport. Your Highness, is everything all right? Frank asks hesitantly. Yes, it will be as soon as I get to the European royal estate and make my claim. I reply and the rest of the drive is silent. Damn, I wish I'd brought Saturn to help release some of my tension during the flight. Then I realize I'll need to have her brought to me, since I'll have to stay at the royal estate for a while as I'm coronated and celebrated. So I tell Frank to have her brought over today, and he makes the arrangement. After we board the plane and it takes off, Frank answers a call. Your Highness, your father is on the line. He tells me and I have him put it on speaker. Yes. I say. Where have you taken our plane, Vincenzo? He asks. Just a vacation, sir. I needed to get away from the drama. I reply knowing he knows exactly where I'm going and what I'm about to do. Bullshit. I knew you were up to something and you lied. Well, I hope you don't expect me to just relinquish my throne to you. He growls and I laugh. Oh, Father, we both know that the people will see it my way after they learn of your continuously having sex with young citizens. My goodness, you even impregnated one young lady who has birthed your spawn. I say. They'll want a younger king, one who is already the king in Europe and has a gorgeous, well-mannered queen who does as she's told. You plotted behind my back. That's it, Vincenzo, you are hereby stripped of your place and title in this family. Don't you dare return to the castle, or I'll have you killed. He roars and I end the call. I decide that I really do need a stress reliever, and I grab the flight attendant, leading her to the sofa, where I strip her naked, and Frank and I spend the rest of the flight double-teaming her. Unfortunately, she's a mortal, and right after we finish she dies. I definitely need Saturn to arrive as soon as possible. The plane lands and as we pull away from the airport, I see it's 1029 am, and I tell Frank to step on it. Let me see your phone. I demand and he hands it to me. I try to call Killian again and it rings forever. When his voicemail comes on, I leave a message. You'd better pray that nothing goes wrong. If I get screwed and you could have warned me, but refuse to answer your phone, like a lil bitch, I won't stop until I watch the light fade from your eyes. I end the call and give Frank his phone back as we pull into the royal estate. The guards let us right through and everything seems to be normal. No extra precautions or heightened security protocol. Perfect. When Frank opens the door, I step out and fix my tie before walking into the hall. I head straight for the throne room, and as I step inside I declare, I Vincenzo Ragazzi claim. I freeze and my jaw drops as I see her, my queen sitting on the throne. She'd been talking with one of the lords, but now they're both looking at me in surprise. I quickly smile. Princess, you're here. That's Queen Leah and King Liam. I'm interrupted by Lord Ryan, and I try to understand his words. Did you say Queen and King? I ask, sure I must have heard wrong. I did indeed. He replies, and I look up to see Leah smirking. We were coronated as of yesterday until my parents are found. She informs me, and I'm furious. How did they get here so quickly? How did they know? I'm appalled this female ruined my plans. I quickly school my expression and bow. Congratulations, your highnesses, it's fantastic that the kingdom is secure. I say before rising and turning to leave. Thank you. Prince Vincenzo, one more thing. The bitch calls out, and I turn back to face her. Yes, your highness. I reply, and her smirk turns into a cold smile. She stands up while Liam stands also. It's not public knowledge that my parents are missing. How did you know? She asks, glaring at me. I didn't, your highness. I came to speak with King Ernesto and Queen Amelia. I make up a valid reason. That'd be believable if you hadn't walked in claiming the throne guards, she says, and suddenly royal guards surround me. Take him to the interrogation cells, and don't leave him unattended. Chain him and his assistant up also. I'm so stunned that I've been played by my queen, no less. I don't even argue a fight, as the guard take Frank and I to the interrogation cells, and are chained to the wall. 4 guards stay watching over us, 2 inside the door and 2 outside. I'm furious. I did all this for her, well, partly. I close my eyes and immediately see how she looked stunning in her black suit with a skirt, the burgundy silk shirt peeking out underneath. Her reddish-brown curls cascading down her back. Then I see her smirk. She honestly believes she's beaten me, but there's no way. No woman can beat me. No one can. I'll figure a way out of this. She's mine. I was promised my whole life she was mine, and I've spent too much of my time and energy to make sure she is in my bed, in my life. Bodice, seeing my queen on the throne had me hard immediately. I picture bending her over that throne in front of those lords and ladies, and slamming into her tightness. Make her scream my name, and fuck that smirk off her face, as I put my seed in her. Oh, the things I want to do to my queen, that little prince could never imagine, and I guarantee she'd forget all about him quickly. She will forget about him as soon as she's in my bed. I messed up on this plan. I never should have trusted those fucking rogues, and they will pay for their double-crossing me. They must have alerted my queen. That's the only logical explanation of how she's here. I'm glad you're enjoying ourselves so much. My eyes fly open as I hear my queen say. I look to see she's changed into black leggings, a oversized hoodie and sneakers. Her hair is loose and the curls fall down to her sexy ass. I look to the one window that is on the cell to see it's black outside. I must have passed out. The one small window that is meant to make those locked inside weaker. The 2 small window only big enough for a rat to escape. I turn to look at my queen, and there's that smirk. My father will be here soon, and you're about to start a war unless you release me. I growl as I look at her. Why are you denying the inevitable, my queen? Just release me and come home with me. It'll save a lot of pain. We will see. You're delusional and will never win, she says and smirks. My love. Let's go and leave him to his insane delusions. Zeus is going crazy, her piece of shit mate says, and I watch her eyes flash with lust. I want to kill him as it's obvious he's taking my queen to let their lichens out to touch and be inside my queen. Isis is ready to see you tomorrow, she says, taking his hand before waving to me and walking out. I hear the door lock and I roar. I start to calm myself down, knowing she'll be under me soon as she screams my name. Go ahead, enjoy my queen, now Prince Liam. Soon she'll be begging me to be inside her, and you'll be alone. They think they've won, but I haven't even played my secret hand yet. The one only I know of and the one that will change everything. As soon as my father gets me released, game over. Suddenly I hear pleasure-filled howls come through the opened window and I growl. That window wasn't open, they're trying to get to me. I know he's having sex with my queen, and they continue howling, until an hour later the howls get louder before stopping abruptly, and it makes me see red. He's a dead lichen. I pass out at some point. I wake up to voices and immediately recognize one as my father's. Thank you, Moon Goddess. I knew he'd come get me out of here. I open my eyes to see him standing in front of me, with my queen and Liam. I detest calling him king or prince. He's a weak lichen, who was born into a royal family. I may have been born a prince, but I've put in the work to earn my title. I turn my attention to my sexy queen, and I look her up and down, starting at her black stiletto sandals, and trailing up her incredibly sexy legs. She's wearing another skirt suit, but today it's royal blue with the skirt just above her knee and a black silk blouse peeking out. Her hair is up in a twist and her curls fall back. I can't wait to have her legs wrapped around my neck. So you found your suspect. I sincerely hope you don't blame the royal family and our kingdom as well. We had no knowledge until earlier today. My father says and looks at me like I'm disgusting to him. Who does he think he is? What other conclusion would we come to when he is the prince and your son? My queen asks. As of this morning, before I left for the airport, he had been disowned and stripped of his titles. He is no longer a part of our kingdom. My father declares, and I glare at him. You're bluffing, old man. The only way you could do any of that is. I yell at him, only to be cut off. With a second signature from a royal family member, which your mother, the queen, has so kindly given. He says, pulling out the official paperwork, showing myself, as well as the two of them, and smirks. I'm shocked my mother actually disowned me and stripped me of my titles. I'm a rogue with nothing. King Ragazzi, given the circumstances you've proven, of course, we don't blame your family or kingdom for the actions of a rogue. My queen says. Thank you, Queen Leah and King Liam. I can return home and not worry of war. My father says before the three leave, and I just hang my head and try to figure out how to reach my goals now. One thing's for sure, I won't rest until my queen is in my bed and I'm king of my home. I'll make sure my father watches as I take everything from him. Vincenzo's finale. Vincenzo's POV. Being stuck in this dungeon, shackled to the wall by these silver shackles, and just to be sure they'd had the guard continuously rub wolfsbane on me and damn in burned, has been horrible. Father left within an hour of formally announcing I was stripped of my titles and took Frank with him. Since I'm now a rogue, it seems I'm unable to link with anyone from home. Screw them all. I really only need one person, but I don't even know if she's alive, and I've tried to link with her multiple times, only to not be able to. I decide to try one more time. I concentrate, and this time, I feel the link connect. Thank goodness we had a sexual relationship, or I wouldn't be able to link, but she doesn't speak right away. Are you there? I ask over the link. Let me get back to you. Saturn says and cuts the link, and I'm furious. Was she having sex with someone else? She knows better than that. Only me. But then again, I'm not prince or king, I'm a rogue. I roar in anger. This is all his fault. I will punish him. It's a few hours later, after the guard force fed me some disgusting, blended concoction through a nose tube, just as they have the other 2 mornings and at night. I demand to see Queen Leah. I growl and one of the guard turns back to face me. Noted, he says, and they quickly leave. Now it's just me and I know the guards wait outside the door. I stare out the tiny window and wait for what I don't know, but all I can do is wait. My wrists hurt so badly from fighting to free myself that first day. Suddenly I feel a link and have to push my anger down. My king? Saturn asks. Yes. I reply. You're alive, but the king came back and said you were dead. Saturn says, crying. Is that who you were in bed with? The king. I snarl and she sobs louder. He's claimed me as his own, has me cuffed to my bed, only releases my one side to eat and have sex. She sobs and I know it's time. Saturn, it's time, use your powers to free yourself and come to me. Frank knows where. I tell her and I know she understands. Come to me so we can take the throne as king and queen. Am I interrupting? I'm pulled from the link by my queen standing in front of me, in a sweater dress that hugs her curves, and damn those legs. My mouth waters at just the thought of them wrapped around my neck as I devour her pussy. You're wasting my time, she says, turning to leave. No, please wait. When will you release me? I ask and she laughs. Release you? Are you joking? She continues laughing. Like you plan to release my family. Like you plan to leave me alone. You sick asshole, I have so much planned for you, she says and laughs before walking out, and I'm still so turned on, my cock is throbbing. It hurts and I stand there turned on, and I try thinking of anything to make it stop, when a blonde woman walks in, and I immediately know she's a leakin'. Hello, I'm Nina. I'm here to take care of your problem, she says, and quickly undoes my pants and starts sucking me off, and it only takes me a moment to realize that they want to keep me weak, and I'm most weak after an orgasm. I'm unable to stop her as I need the release. Yes, that's good. I praise her and she glares at me, making me shut up. When I find myself about to release, she jumps away, so I finish on the floor, while she leaves without a word. I slump against the wall and have to wait until one of the guards comes to pull my pants up. How embarrassing. They keep doing things to show how powerful they are, not realizing I'll be the powerful one soon. Nothing they can do will stop me. I should have brought Saturn with me originally, and none of this would have happened. I would be in bed right now with my queen and Saturn. I'd be king and my father would be in the dungeon. Suddenly I hear their howls of ecstasy, and I growl even at my weak state. I know that's my queen and that idiotic pup. That's enough. He continues to touch my queen. It should be me. My king. I'm almost there. What do you need me to do? I hear Saturn question over our link and I smile. Get a room and wait. I'll let you know tomorrow night. Tonight just rest. I reply and then think for a moment. Let me know when you're safely in a room. Yes, my king. Saturn replies and I can't help but laugh hysterically. These fools have no idea what they're in for, and I can't wait to show them my lil pet's power. Now, I just have to keep my pet happy and still have my queen next to me on the throne, and underneath me in bed. Saturn has to know she's only going to be my pet. She has no royal blood and is a witch. I was shocked when her powers unleashed, and she made me her sex toy one night, but not as surprised as she was. She cried and begged me not to tell anyone. I gladly agreed, knowing I'd need her someday. If she gets me out of this dungeon and on the throne, I'll make sure my queen knows her place. How dare she use silver and wolfsbane on us? Zaid growls, but he's weak and has to rest. The guards come in to rub wolfsbane over my chest and back before I pass out from pain. Wake him up, I hear right before ice-cold wolfsbane infused water is tossed over me, and I awaken with a roar. Ah, how dare you! I open my eyes to see my queen looking gorgeous in her black leggings, black tank top and black leather jacket, and those stiletto boots I'd make her wear, just to feel them around my neck. Of course her pup is with her and he's dressed similar. What is this matching day? I didn't get the memo. That's funny, matching day, she says, and they both laugh and I glare at them wondering what they're up to. You should let me go now and let me have my queen before it's too late to choose, I say, which makes them laugh harder. Don't worry, Vincenzo, this will be the last you'll see of this dungeon, she says with a cold smirk. Has she finally realized she belongs to me? I play it cool. Guards, bring in the fun, she says, and my jaw drops as 2 tables of implements of torture are brought in, and I feel a cold chill go down my spine. Saturn, get me out now. Now they're going to kill me, I yell and continue trying to reach her. I roar as Queen Leah slices my chest open with silver blade, and Zaid is too weak to heal me. Bitch, where are you? I'm being murdered and you are too busy being a whore to do what I brought you here to do. Queen Leah is slicing all over my body and I roar. You worthless whore. I should have known you couldn't manage anything unless you opened your legs. I'm right here, I hear her over the link before she walks into the room, dressed just as the queen and king, with another male leakin, who I instantly recognize as Prince Christian. There's something different about Saturn, and then I see it. She's found her one. She's marked, and I growl in anger. Hello, Vincenzo, Saturn says, smiling vindicatively. You worthless whore, does your mate know how many times you've opened your legs for me and my father? I growl. Does he know his mate is a witch? I say with a cruel smile. But my jaw drops when Christian steps up behind her, wrapping his arms around her, and nuzzles her mark before smiling at me. Oh yes, I know everything, and it doesn't matter, 'cause she's my princess now. And after tonight no one will remember you, Christian says before handing Saturn a silver blade. Ladies have fun. Boy, did they enjoy every slice. I roared in pain for hours as the 2 female lichens, who were supposed to be mine, supposed to be my queen and my toy, supposed to be submitting to my pain, sliced and took out their rage on my weakened human form. Zaid had roared in anger and pain hours ago, then went to whimpering, and now he was gone. I knew he was gone forever. I was bleeding and only upright due to the silver chains and cuffs. I was in and out of consciousness. This is boring now. It's time to end his pathetic existence. Leah decided, and Saturn agrees. Look at the pathetic remains of the one who attempted to claim the throne, and remember this is what will happen if any other is dumb enough to try, she says, and I open one eye to see her addressing a camera set up in the corner, before grabbing a gun off the table and stepping directly in front of me. She pressed it to my forehead. You taped everything you've done to kill me? I asked, needing to know why. Of course, so everyone knows not to mess with my family, not to try me, She answers with a smirk. I'm not a weak leakin, I'm Queen Leah, and I will not let any stupid leakin, wolf, or ego-tripping piece of shit hurt my family or my people again. With that she pulled the Saturn's freedom. Saturn, my amazing daughter, you must always remember to do as they tell you. Be a submissive female leakin, so they don't find out the truth not until you're strong enough, and then unleash hell. I can still hear my mother say, as she had repeatedly throughout my life. She was King Regazi's plaything after he kidnapped us from my father's pack, until she died from the continued abuse. Everyone knew how much the king loved to hurt his toys during his hours, sometimes days-long sexual episodes. I was terrified that he'd call on me next. Those of us not claimed by either the king, prince, or another of the guard were kept in the basement of the castle, unless there was some event where we were offered to guests or the kingdom for a few hours. Otherwise we were kept in cages and witnessed the torture they'd inflict on anyone who they decided had stepped out of line. As I watched my mother get weaker and weaker every time she returned from one of her times with the king, I knew it was just a matter of time before she'd not return at all, and as much as it'd kill me to lose the only person I knew loved me, it also meant I'd take her place. I'd managed to fade into the background perfectly until Prince Vincenzo returned. He claimed me immediately and took my first time roughly and savagely. It seemed I was doomed regardless, but to my surprise he gave me a sweet, and I was given a bit of freedom unless he called for me. I knew he only gave me a sweet to make sure no one else touched me. Vincenzo insisted I call him my king, just as the she-wolf he brought back from his travels did. I did as I was told and always remembered my mother's words until the night after she died, when I was devastated and not in control of my actions, and suddenly I had Vincenzo doing my bidding. I had no idea how I did it, but I begged him not to tell anyone. In our kingdom, people who were different or had gifts were locked away and studied. He agreed, and almost immediately he started only calling for me. Stupid she-wolf got pregnant claiming it to be his. When he left days ago, he made me promise to be ready to join him, and I agreed. Then King Regazzi left and returned. I was forced to another suite and chained naked to the bed. I was so confused but said nothing. Later that night, King Regazzi strode into the room with a look of pure animalistic evil, and his eyes roamed over my body as he began stripping his clothes off. What is happening? It's as though my greatest fears had come true. I hated them all. You are so sexy. No wonder my poor pathetic son kept you to himself while he was alive, he said as he stripped the last of his garments off and walked to the foot of the bed. What do you mean, my king? I asked as he crawled onto the bed with his head between my legs, taking a large sniff and groaning. Oh, you smell so sweet. I haven't smelled a sweeter scent in years, he growled. Coming over on top of me, he started sucking on my neck, stopping to speak. My son was stripped of everything in relation to this kingdom and killed. He continues down to bite and suck my breasts. You belong to me now. You will be ready at all times to be used by me. No clothes, and will have a guard, and only released from the bed to shower or eat. He orders, and I nodded as I'd been taught to do. As the disgusting, smelly, sweaty, obese king took me, only allowing me anything like pleasure, so he could continue, I decided this wouldn't be my future. I wouldn't die as my mother and countless humans had. I shoved my repulsion away and started planning. 6 hours later, he finished his assault, and I knew he'd gone easy on me, since it was the first time he'd had me. I knew he'd be back, and it would be worse, so as soon as he was led to his suite, I linked Vincenzo back, and did exactly as he ordered. I released every bit of anger and self-preservation I had and released control to Tempest, my Leakin. It's time we're ready, I told Tempest, and she laughed before within moments had us released and dressed. Find Frank, I told her, and she teleported us into the large blue SUV in a blink, as Frank began driving out of the castle grounds without a word. In fact, he didn't say a word until he parked at the airport. Here are your tickets to the European Kingdom. Once you land, link with him to get further instructions. Never return to this kingdom, he says, as though he's recording a message and not actually speaking to a person. I take the tickets and bags he hands me, and the moment both my feet are on the ground, he pulls away, allowing the door to swing shut on its own. He never once looked at me. Had I allowed myself to be turned into something so detestable? I turn and enter the airport, quickly boarding my flight. I only allowed myself to relax as the plane took off. I grabbed the first bag and started to go through it. Well, someone made sure all of our bases were covered, Tempest says in my mind, and she's right. The 2 bags not only include fake identification and $1,000 in cash, but also a Black American Express card I couldn't even fathom the limit on, as well as clothes, hair and toiletries, and even snacks and water. It had to be Vincenzo. He needed me to be happy. I was his only hope. As I looked out the window at the miles and miles of ocean and relaxed even more knowing I was free, I didn't have to just let anyone do anything to me anymore. We don't have to go to that evil, pathetic Leakin. We can go find our dad, Tempest says, and I quickly correct her. No, we can't. If we return to the pack, King Rigazzi will come for us. Before we decide anything, we should go see exactly what Vincenzo needs. He is lying about the throne, but it's a first step, I say firmly, and feel Tempest cut our link. She's mad, but it's fine. Let her relax and rest after the amount of energy she used, and things will be figured out once we get a room and shower. I grab some water and a sandwich from the bag and quickly eat it before relaxing back in my seat and gazing out the window, losing myself in my thoughts. It feels like mere minutes before I'm pulled from my thoughts as the plane lands and comes to a stop. I quickly link with Vincenzo, who orders me to get a room and wait. I can hear the excitement in his voice that I'm here and he'll be free. I want to scream at him to stop using me. I'm not a toy, but I agree and exit the plane into a brightly lit but small terminal. It's quite busy as lichens, wolves, and all types of mystical species come and go. I've never seen such an amazing sight. In the African kingdom, species never intermingled unless to battle, but apparently in the European kingdom, it was the opposite. Was it like this throughout the rest of the world, I wondered, as I passed a Leakin woman laughing with a vampire. This was how it should be. I smiled as I made my way to the exit and was about to step outside when Tempest started begging for control and howling. Can you smell that? It's happening, mate. Mate is here. She is struggling to take control, and I'm fighting as hard as possible until the intoxicating scent of the woods and oranges overtakes my senses and I freeze and growl. Where is that coming from? I ask in my mind, even as I spin to look for the source. I quickly lock eyes with the most sea blue eyes I've ever seen, and the gorgeous black-haired tall Leakin is staring at me. He quickly moves from across the terminal to right in front of me. He smiles. Mine anima gemella. My mate. He growls and wraps his arms around my waist, pulling me flush against him. Mine, my soul mate. I reply before we kiss. It's explosive and claiming and deep. Moments later we're in a black limousine, with royal flags flying, and my soul goes cold. I look at him. Wait, stop the car now, I say, and we quickly pull to the side of the road, and I quickly get out to get some fresh air. I take deep breaths as I sense him step up beside me. Can you at least tell me your name? He asks, and I want to cry. My name is Saturn, I say. It's a beautiful name. I'm Christian, Prince Christian technically, he says and smiles. That's what I was afraid of. I think this is all a big misunderstanding, Your Highness, I reply, fighting back tears. There's no way the moon goddess would make us soulmates. You're royalty and I'm garbage. Don't say that the moon goddess doesn't make mistakes. He growls and turns to face me. Listen. We're on the side of the room and causing a scene. Will you let me take you to your hotel so you can tell me why you think you're not good enough? He asks, and after realizing it couldn't make it any worse, I nod, and we get back into the limo. Christian calls to let his family know he won't be there till later, and we check into a room close to the royal estate. After showering and getting comfy clothes on, I join him on the sofa and down a bottle of water before facing him. I explain who I am and my story, telling him everything. I tell him how I was Prince Vincenzo and his father's toy, how I escaped cause of my powers, and even why I'm here. He listens quietly, never changing his warm, understanding expression. After I finish, we are both silent before he lifts me up and placed me in his lap. He looks into my eyes. You're a strong woman, none of that matters. You're mine, I'm not letting you go, he says and crashes his mouth to mine. I'm shocked but kiss him back. Are you serious? Your family will never accept me. I have been a whore. I'm a witch, I say, knowing I must be dreaming. There's no way he could be true. Those things weren't something you chose, Christian says, and then after a moment or two he stands up, lifting me up with him. I'll make you a deal. Come to the royal estate with me and meet my sister the queen. If after she hears your story she doesn't accept you, I'll have you brought back here and never bother you again. But if she accepts you, you have to accept we're mates and we mate and mark one another, he says and looks at me, arching a brow. And I can't think of a disagreement, so I nod, and he grabs my purse and room key and carries me bridal style down to the limo. Wait, Christian, I can't meet the queen in this, I cry out as we pull away from the hotel, and he laughs. Why are you laughing at me? I'm serious. Gorgeous, I'm not laughing at you. I promise you'll see why I'm laughing in a few minutes, he says through his laughter, and kisses me deeply as we continue to drive. Every mile I get more and more nervous. I know Christian can feel it and is trying to distract me. It works until the car pulls to a stop, and I pull back to look out the window. It's stunning, I say as I look at the elegant, warm mansion with its windows and wraparound deck. I thought we were going to the royal estate, I say in confusion. We're here, Christian replies. Where's the castle? I question, and he grins. It's not like that here. This is the mansion where the king and queen live. That building is the hall and dungeons where all the official things are done, Christian explains before stepping out of the limo and offering his hand, which I accept and step out of the car. Oh sister, you can't hide forever, A man yells as he slips around the side of the mansion, carrying water balloons. Liam, tell your wife to quit hiding. Ha ha. Ha. Have you met your sister? Another man comes around holding water balloons himself. Are they? I ask quietly and Christian laughs. Having a water balloon fight. It doesn't surprise me. He answers when suddenly two gorgeous women drop from the second-floor balcony and pelt the men with water balloons, making them drop the ones they were holding. The men rush the two who are clearly their mates and swoop the ladies up, while they all laugh. It takes a few minutes before the reddish-brown-haired woman spots us and grins before rushing towards us. Christian, you're home, she says before hugging him tightly. It's so good to see you. Christian hugs her in return, and you can clearly tell that they're siblings. They step apart and both turn to me smiling. Leah, this is Saturn, my mate, Christian says, wrapping his arm around my shoulders. Gorgeous, this is my sister Leah. Her mate and husband Liam. Christian introduces and I immediately drop to my knee and bow my head. Your Majesties, it's an honor, I say quickly, and to my shock the Queen laughs. Oh please, don't do that, we don't really do formal around here, unless we're in the hall, she says, and I stand. I'm Leah and he's Liam, she says with a warm smile. Now, I'm told you have a story to share, and it's also time to nurse our twins. If you don't mind, let's continue in the nursery. Perfect, I can't wait to see how big they've gotten, Christian replies, and I watch as the king, or Liam, wraps his arm around his wife's shoulders, pulling her into his side, before kissing her temple, before heading into the mansion. It makes me smile to see how deeply they adore one another. Christian and I follow them in much the same way. Could I really have this? Is it possible this leak in this man, and I could become a family? I'd never considered the possibility I'd find a man of my own, to create a future with. After we were taken, my mother never sugar-coated our situation. She wanted me to be strong enough to accept our futures. She used to say, they can control our bodies and our daily lives, but knowing what's coming means they can't break us. Is it possible I deserved more? Before we step into the nursery, Christian stopped and looked into my eyes. Here we go. If it becomes too upsetting, just say the word. I'll be right beside you, he tells me, and I pull him down to kiss him. When we part, we step into the nursery. Here we go.